did a single limestone hill, burned by invaders and rebuilt by empires over thousands of years, become the enduring symbol of Western civilization? The answer begins on a rocky outcrop, where ancient columns still watch over a modern capital. The Acropolis of Athens dominates the city skyline. At its center, the Parthenon and the Erechtheian temples showcase classical Greek architecture. Constructed in the 5th century BC, these marble monuments have survived wars, earthquakes, and centuries of changing rulers. Below the citadel lies the ancient Agora, the historic heart of public life in ancient Athens. Here, the reconstructed Stoa of Attalos lines the eastern edge of the marketplace, where philosophers, merchants, and politicians once gathered daily. West of Athens, the Corinth Canal slices through the Greek mainland. This deep, narrow waterway connects the Gulf of Corinth with the Saronic Gulf in the Aegean Sea. Carved directly through steep limestone walls, the canal saves smaller ships from navigating the long route around the Peloponnese Peninsula, creating a direct path for maritime trade. Inland from the coast, the plains of central Greece suddenly give way to the massive sandstone pillars of Meteora. These towering rock formations host one of the largest complexes of Eastern Orthodox monasteries in the world. Monks seeking isolation built their sanctuaries on these sheer vertical cliffs, starting in the 14th century, using networks of ropes, ladders, and pulleys to haul materials up the rock faces. The Monastery of the Holy Trinity and the Holy Monastery of Varlaam sit perched atop these immense natural pillars and rounded boulders in the Meteora region. Today, stone steps cut directly into the rock provide access to the complexes. Sunlight illuminates the red-tiled roofs, stone facades, and historic courtyards, revealing isolated religious settlements that have successfully clung to the edge of these precipices for hundreds of years. In the Ionian Sea, the old fortress of Corfu occupies a rocky peninsula on the eastern side of the island. This massive Venetian fortress successfully protected the city against maritime invasions for centuries. Inland from the stone walls, the historic center of Corfu town features a dense collection of traditional buildings with terracotta roofs, narrow streets, and the busy Mandraki harbor, where modern boats now safely dock. Further south lies Navajo Beach, an exposed cove on the coast of Zakynthos. Enclosed by steep, white limestone cliffs, This secluded stretch of sand meets the clear turquoise waters of the Ionian Sea, creating one of the most recognized shorelines in Greece. The beach draws its alternative name, Shipwreck Beach, from the rusted remains of the MV Panagotius. The freight ship ran aground on these shores in 1980. Today, boats anchor in the bay, bringing crowds of summer tourists to walk the white sand. The towering cliffs isolate the cove from the rest of Zakynthos, making the beach accessible only by water. The rusted hull of the Paniotis sits partially buried in the sand, deteriorating slowly under the Mediterranean sun. Tour boats and small yachts constantly navigate the bright blue water of the bay. Visitors swim near the anchored vessels and gather around the deteriorating shipwreck, exploring the contrast between the decaying metal and the natural limestone environment. On the neighboring island of Kefalonia, Myrtos Beach sits in the northwestern region of Pylos. A winding road cuts down the steep mountain slopes, leading to a long, crescent-shaped bay covered in bright white pebbles. The white pebbles and steep limestone cliffs drop directly into the Ionian Sea, giving the water its distinct sapphire and turquoise colors. The shoreline remains largely undeveloped, preserving the natural state of the coastal landscape. On the island of Crete, the Palace of Knossos is the largest Bronze Age archaeological site in the region. Often called Europe's oldest city, this Minoan complex features excavated stone structures, intricate staircases, and reconstructed red columns. Wall frescoes depict stylized trees and ancient life within the sprawling palace grounds. Nearby, Heraklion operates as the largest city and the administrative capital of Crete. The bustling coastal cityscape surrounds a historic Venetian harbor, where the Koulos fortress guards the entrance. A mix of modern urban buildings, coastal roads, and circular park fountains line the waterfront, with snow-capped mountains visible in the distant background. In the northwestern part of Crete, Balos Lagoon offers a shallow expanse of turquoise water. White sandy shores connect the mainland to a rocky peninsula, creating a protected bay where boats anchor and visitors swim in the calm sea. Moving to the Cyclades, the island of Mykonos features the historic Kato Mili windmills. These circular white structures with thatched roofs overlook the Aegean Sea. Originally built by the Venetians to mill wheat using the strong coastal winds. The windmills sit on a small hill directly above the shoreline. As the sun sets, the warm golden light illuminates the traditional architecture, while sailboats and yachts anchor in the calm waters of the nearby harbor. Just below the windmills lies Little Venice, a historic neighborhood in the main town of Chora, where houses are built right on the rocky edge of the sea. Colorful balconies and wooden doors hang directly over the water. Narrow cobblestone streets wind through the district, lined with seaside restaurants, small art galleries, and traditional whitewashed buildings adorned with bright pink flowers. Further south, the island of Santorini holds the coastal town of Oia on its northwestern tip. The village is famous for its densely packed whitewashed houses and blue-domed churches, perched high on the volcanic cliffs above the Aegean. Narrow pedestrian pathways and stone walls navigate the steep terrain of the village. The white architecture reflects the bright sunlight, while terraced swimming pools and small courtyards look out over the deep waters of the flooded caldera. Along the highest point of the caldera edge sits the village of Imirovli. This cliffside settlement shares the traditional Cycladic architecture of the island, with white buildings and blue-domed chapels built directly into the rugged volcanic rock. Known for its clear views of the sunset, Imirovli features luxury resorts, infinity pools, and steep stone staircases that connect the different terraced levels of the neighborhood far above the sea. On the southern coast of Santorini, the landscape shifts dramatically at Red Beach. The shoreline is famous for its unique red volcanic sand and towering, iron-rich red cliffs that drop into the deep blue water. Visitors walk down rocky paths to reach the dark pebble beach, while catamarans and sailing boats anchor in the bay to take in the distinct colors of the volcanic coast. Thera, the modern capital of Santorini, rests on the edge of the caldera. As night falls, the illuminated city shows how a civilization can thrive even on the rim of an ancient volcano.